My name is Mustafa Abdullah, and I'm originally from Cairo, Egypt. I was born in Cairo. My father's Egyptian, my mom's American. My family is originally from Alexandria, or I should say a small farm village just outside of Alexandria. There is a lot of differences. I think just to highlight a few, in respect, for instance, to the revolution. The median age of an Egyptian is, I think right now it's 24 years old, 24, maybe 26, no more than that. So for President Mubarak at the time had been ruling for 30 years, and they hadn't known anybody else besides President Mubarak as being the leader of Egypt. And he was a gentleman who had a monopolization of the government. He owned 40% of the businesses in Egypt. Nobody moved without his sort of approval. Whereas here in this culture, we take for granted the public space that we have when it comes to engaging in our own ingenuity, that we don't need approval for moving right or left, that these are civil rights that we've won going back 250 years and continue to win and develop over time for everyone that lives in the United States. And so here are people that were suffering, many of whom, about 50% of whom were living on less than $1 a day. And it contributes to a particular sort of cultural, economic community. You have very impoverished communities. And as opposed to in the United States, our 99%, as they say, are actually in the top 50% for GDP across the world. So even our 99% might not necessarily have it so bad relatively, right? My family has been in Winston-Salem since 2001. When I saw September 11th happen, I mean, that was an excruciating moment for Americans. And I think Muslim Americans were hit twice on that day. We had our own Twin Towers hijacked. We also had our religion hijacked. We have these extremist terrorists who were using Islam, right, to say that you cannot be American and Muslim. That these are fundamentally identities that are irreconcilable. And so you have to choose. And so, here I am seeing 18 terrorists, all of whom identify as being Muslim, 9 of whom were Egyptian, were attacking the United States. And I always define myself as an American Egyptian Muslim. Even in the classrooms at Forsyth Country Day, some of the teachers would bring around conversations on September 11th. And then they would look to me and they would say, Mustafa, as a teenager representing 1.5 billion Muslims around the world, what do Muslims have to say about this, right? And I just said most of the time, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's hard enough for a scholar to be and a scholar of Islam to be representing totality of views of Muslims around the world, right? It's a really heavy burden. And the reason that those moments were very traumatic is because there wasn't a sense of a sense of being in relationship with each other, because it never occurred to them to ask, well, is Mustafa also a victim? Right? Does he need our help? Right? So that became very challenging for me. So that really set off a whole discourse of what does it mean to belong? What does it mean to have a sense of community? What does it mean to have a sense of identity? I work as a community organizer for a local organization called Change. It stands for Communities Helping All Neighbors Gain Empowerment. And Change is a local affiliate of a national organization called the Industrial Areas Foundation, which is the largest and oldest community organizing institution in the country. We have a network of about 23,000 people, and so it's the largest multi-faith organization in the Southeast. So being in relationship with all these people has helped me create a better sense of belonging, and doing this justice, faith-based work has allowed for me to mold a stronger sense of being American being Egyptian and being Muslim, that's actually a possibility.